I'm pretty good at tricking people into thinking I have good skin, but this is my real skin. So I want to show you how to trick people as well. My skin had so many issues this year. So if you're like me and scars stay on your skin for a long time, then save this video because it might help you out. So I always start off with a color corrector. This is a yellow color corrector right here that I use. This is to cover up any like purple or blue pigment that is left over from your scars. And I use a very small tip brush. And always clean your brushes before doing this, or you're just gonna get more pimples. So I take the product and put it on the back of my hand. And then I just start by covering pretty generously on anything that is a scar. I find that the ones on the cheek are the hardest to cover. Some people like to use green color corrector, but I find that that works better on active acne because it's a lot more red. I do keep a green one handy as well. And I don't really do this very precisely, I just dab it on everywhere. So you should look a little crazy like this. Next, I'll go in with the concealer. Depending on what I'm doing, I would use a more full coverage or a less full coverage concealer. I don't really use these normal day. I use this on camera, and then this one I use more for normal day. So I use this angled concealer brush. It looks kind of like this. It's very dense. I always clean the end first and then grab a little bit of product and put it on the back of my hand. I did pick a shade that's like my skin color and not brighter. If you get a brighter shade, it's gonna look like bright spots everywhere. Now I just dab over all the little spots that are yellow. So as I'm doing this, I do really want to talk about what happened to my skin this year because it was a very sad experience. I had a huge like fungal acne explosion from using an expired product, which was, okay, that was my fault. That was my fault for sure. Then I got eczema around my eyes and then it spread to my cheeks, and that happened twice. And I ended up seeing a doctor about it, but then he kind of dismissed me and didn't refer me to a dermatologist because by the time I got there, my skin was a lot more repaired. He just didn't think anything was wrong with me. So I never really got treated and I've just been surviving on my own instincts. Okay, now I'm gonna put on some concealer for my eye bags, like not for the acne scars or anything. Next is a complexion product. I just use like a light BB cream to just tone the whole face. Now get your sponge and just blend everything out. I find a sponge works the best with my face. Once it's all blended out, it should look something like this. This kind of looks like no makeup skin, which is already a nice finish. If you really want to clean up those like really deep scars, then I go in with a precision brush. So with the precision brush, I do go in and very precisely cover up the pimple scars. This technique does work best if your scar is flat. So obviously if you have like a concave scar or like a bumpy pimple, you're gonna still see that. It's just gonna look like a skin bump. Let it sit for like 1 minute and then get your concealer brush and then buff out all the rough edges. You're just gonna try to blend out the pigment so it's not just like a dot of concealer. So once everything is blended out, then I go in with a little bit of powder and a small tiny fluffy brush, and I just cover the spots that have the pimples. Just kind of make sure it doesn't have too much shine on it so that it doesn't like attract more attention, because if it's like a scar and it's shiny, then people are gonna look there. So then I go in with a lighter shade of the concealer, and now I'm just trying to cover up all the darkest spots, so it's like literally one or two strokes per pimple. For example, this dark spot on my cheek, I'm just gonna put it right where there is little bit of a dark spot and nowhere else, because this is a shade lighter. If you only have one concealer, that's totally fine. Just keep going in with the same concealer. I just like to go in with one lighter because I know that it will help fight some of those like shadows that are created from the scarring. This second round needs to be so light-handed. And then back to blending it out a little bit on the edges. Okay, let me just finish my makeup and I'll show you what the base looks like under a natural look. And this is it. This is how I trick people into thinking I have good skin.